What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Blind Power. Today I'm here to talk about the new products Apple released, which are going to be out tomorrow, November 7th, the day of my birthday. How convenient. So, the MacBook Air is awesome. It's super thin. It's got USB-C ports on each end. It's got your headphone jack. It has a third generation butterfly keyboard, which is great for typing. It's very tactile, and it's quieter. So, if you want that tactile feedback on the keyboard, it maintains its tactile feedback. It is less clicky, but it does feel from the technology that's in the keyboard. It should feel the same, but it should be quieter, which is nice. You have Touch ID with the Apple T2 chip, which means you have security login. It has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and all your stuff, so it should work with your Braille displays. The baseline, which is for $1,200, is a 2-core Intel 8th generation CPU. So the CPU is basic. So basically, if you only browse the web and do occasional, you don't do any heavy multitasking or anything, it's a great machine for you because of the fact that you can take it everywhere, and that's base. You can upgrade it all the way up to almost $2,000 and have it just under a normal MacBook computing power. So you could probably get a decent Core i5. So right there with the MacBook Pro, but it's not a MacBook Pro. So, it comes with 8 gigs of RAM to start off, so that's not bad. It used to come with 4 in the previous generation. So yeah, it's a big upgrade, and I say it's a great machine for creators and education because it's just powerful enough to get things done. And then if you need more power, you can get an external GPU enclosure, which basically adds more graphical power if you do photo editing or video editing. But the CPU is still underpowered, so you're going to get throttled there. But if you are an accessibility user, you use a Braille display or something, it's a great machine because basically it's thin and light. It's just light enough where you can just shove it in your backpack with your assistive technology and just call it a day. And it's basically it's enough to say that you can do a good amount of stuff on there, and you can do some multitasking, and you can get your work done. And the Division of Services for the Blind, if and here in Florida it's called Division of Blind Services, and depending on your location it's called differently. But if they pay for your computer or something, and they're kind of always finding ways to save money when they give you stuff, you can ask for a MacBook Air. I'm pretty sure they'll give you one. It's not that expensive compared to other machines out there. It's not the most powerful thing in the world, but it's going to do the job. You know what I mean? It's a great machine. And it comes in gold, space gray, and silver. By the way, the Apple stickers for the gold, from what I saw on iJustine's unboxing, I haven't seen the unboxing for the space gray, but apparently from the gold unboxing, it comes with gold Apple stickers. So that's cool. It's a novelty, just like how the iMac Pro came with space gray stickers. So that's a good machine for education and creators because it's about portability and not about power, but it's portable enough where you can do some things on there. Okay, now the iPad Pro comes with the new A12 Bionic chip that is in the iPhone XS Max and XR, but I think it's a little more powerful if I'm not mistaken. And it starts off at $700 for 64 gigs, and it goes all the way to 1 terabyte, which is incredible. So that can run you $1,700 plus the keyboard plus the Apple Pencil, which now the Apple Pencil attaches to the iPad magnetically on the side. Microsoft Surface, yeah, you know where Apple got that from. Yeah, Yeah, where did you get that from, Apple? Okay, yeah, it came from the Surface, so most likely. You know, it just, where could have they gotten it? You know, the Surface Pen on the Surface computer is attached to the side. And this iPad is great because it's more powerful. There's CCTV out there that I forget, and that can connect to the iPads. And now this iPad is actually powerful enough where you can have your CCTV device connected, and you can use the iPad for multitasking as well. So the iPad now has enough power to do that, you know, to have like your Bluetooth connected or Wi-Fi connected CCTV plus you know, other tasks that you're doing. You can only do 2 things at once, which kind of sucks. I'm pretty sure you can fit 4. However, the screen is the same size, the 12.9 inch with a smaller footprint, if I am not mistaken. Yeah, or they made it a little bit bigger. I don't remember, but everything will be set up in the. And as I talk about it, I'll pop everything up on the screen. But I'm pretty sure it's the same size with the smaller footprint. Now the next thing that they did was a smaller iPad, the 10.5. They made it an 11-inch, 11 point. Yeah, they made it like an 11-inch iPad. With the same footprint, so the same size, like physical size as the 10.5 inch. And why am I talking about this? Because now there's no home button anymore. You have Face ID on the iPad Pro. You know, with VoiceOver, it's basically going to be slower going home and multitasking. Not my favorite gestures on VoiceOver, but if you have a Braille display or external keyboard, you can still get things done. With the iPad Pro external keyboard, you could just double tap the left-hand side all the way on the top left, and you know, you just double tap it for multitasking, double tap it for accessibility. Yeah, and you can kind of bypass the whole home button situation, which isn't bad on the iPhone, but the iPad is so big that I have to test it out. With VoiceOver, when you have to drag up, I mean, you have to drag your hand from like the bottom of the screen to the middle, and then to the almost to the like top to, you know, access your multitasking and stuff. So I don't know, the gestures are kind of cumbersome with VoiceOver on the iPad Pros. You know, now there's no home button, but with the keyboard it solves it all. Apple Pencil has no use in accessibility as far as I know. You can use it for navigation. Maybe you can use it for signature. I am not aware of any uses for it. But you can it now has a button on the side that you can use when sketching and stuff. So we do notes. What else do we talk about? Augmented reality, which means a better camera. So now if you want to use your camera as a magnifier, I'm not sure if it's going to be as good as the iPhone XS Max camera where you can use it as magnifier, but you know, it may have some augmented reality purposes, you know, if you're into that kind of thing. But not too many accessibility things that I can like say, oh, this is good for this. It's just good because it's portable and you know, it's an iPad and it's new and it's got more power. But you know, besides that and the removal of the home button, and I believe they also took away the headphone jack, so that's not good. That's not good. It's becoming a trend. But they look nice. It looks like a blown up iPhone XS Max. I mean, what else can I say? Now, 1 terabyte on an iPad is excessive. It's so incredible, and you know, they didn't talk about accessibility because Apple never does. It's always in their release notes, which nobody reads, and I will go over the release notes and, you know, brief you on that once I get my hands on it. The release notes probably won't be available until tomorrow, until the, you know, products are out, and I'll be able to see like what the differences are accessibility wise and like what Apple may have added. I am testing 12.1.1 beta on my iPhone, seeing if there's anything new in accessibility. I'll let you know if I find anything. Now let's get to the Mac Mini. The Mac Mini starts at $700. Basically same price as the iPad and kind of underpowered, but it's great for education because for $700 you get Intel Core i3, 3.1 gigahertz with 8 gigs of RAM. You have the space gray color now, which looks so good, you know, 8 gigs of RAM, and now you can take it all the way up to 64 gigs of RAM, 2 terabytes of storage, Intel Core i7. 8th generation. All the stuff is 8th generation Intel processors. And you can attach an external graphics processing. So if you want to create a render farm for video editing or stuff like that for pro users and creators. Now for education, it's great because you can get the i3 model, and you can basically grab one of those things and install Windows on there, and it'll run perfect. My college does that for my coding classes. They'll basically have like Windows on Boot Camp, which is like Windows on the Mac, and it works fine. And you can basically have Windows on a lot of power on Windows from a very cheap budget computer. So if you need Mac and Windows, I do want to get one, but I don't know when. The Mac Mini for education has always been excellent because in the past for the IT, it's always been upgradable and stuff. And if you go anywhere, to any school, you're almost guaranteed to find these machines. And these machines are awesome because basically, if you're a musician and you need a computer to plug in your instruments, if you use like GarageBand to manage all your instruments, you can do that now. Even though you can use the iPad as well, but that's an option right there. It's got voiceover and everything, and it's very versatile. It's a very versatile Mac, and it's the baseline is okay. It's kind of underpowered, but it's got enough memory to do enough multitasking, not too many processor intensive tasks. So magnifier is going to work fine. Just don't try playing a video while using magnifier, so you got limitations. But if you're in an education industry and you are in a school where they're looking for new computers, the most likely the Mac Mini is an option. They haven't updated the Mac Mini since 2014, and it's always been a favorite because of the portability. If you are a professional, you can basically, and you have an advantage, if you're totally blind, you have a Braille display, you can basically plug your Mac Mini to a battery pack if you have the AC power battery pack, and connect to it with your Braille display, and have essentially, if you have a high spec enough machine like the 64 gigs of RAM, for example, you can have a desktop, the power of a desktop, on you wherever you go, portable. It's not like the convenience of a laptop, but you have enough power if you're an extra pro user or you're a business person who uses your Braille display for portability. You can attach you can connect to the Mac Mini and just kind of carry it with a battery pack or plug it in places. It's an option, and it's actually the cheapest Mac you can get, $700 right now, unless you get a used MacBook, which will run you the same, and basically get an older processor with a little bit higher processor but less RAM. So it's an option, and I say that the ultimate setup for me, like for to use a Braille display, is get that iMac, get that Mac Mini. I still can't believe it, Mac Mini. I haven't talked about this in 4 years. And plug in a Braille display, and just have it running off a battery pack or something, or even if you're in a car, you can plug it into a car, and just have desktop class power on the go. And the sighted miss out on this because the sighted have to have a keyboard, a monitor, a mouse, and with the Braille display, it's basically your keyboard, monitor, and mouse, and everything you want in one. So that's awesome. So yeah, those are the 3 Apple products they came out with. The Apple Pencil for the iPad Pros, I forgot to mention, is more expensive now. It's $150, and the keyboard, instead of being $175, it's $200. There you go, Apple tax. Why do you do this, Apple tax? I hate Apple tax. But you pay for what you get, so that's a good thing. You got to pay to play to get good quality electronics. And Apple has always been in the lead of accessibility because VoiceOver and Zoom, and there's a story on how Apple accessibility came across, and I want to tell you that story in another video because it's an amazing story. One of the people that were inside of Apple, and Johnny Ive was part of that. had a vision for everybody using it, not just, you know, the sighted. And I thank Apple for having accessibility. I thank them for that every day, because thanks to Apple, you know, other platforms think about accessibility as well. So now, you know, Android has accessibility. It's not as good as Apple, but Apple's, you know, always been supporting accessibility on their devices. We haven't had a big update on VoiceOver in a while. You know, we have to start figuring out how to push this for iOS 13. Apple needs to do something to, you know, improve VoiceOver. It's just been little updates here and there. I believe it's time to revolutionize VoiceOver again. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for the 300 subscribers, and we're averaging 2,000 views a month, which is incredible. I am amazed. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Comment, rate, subscribe. You know what to do. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. Hit the subscribe button, and remember to enable the notification bell to get all notifications of blind power uploads. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.